Welcome back, friends, to EU League. It's game number 2 for the day. It's day 2, game 2, 2022. Having a lot of fun. Outsiders versus NAVI is our next one. We're going to have a chat about these two squads and what they have to offer in this matchup. I'm Most Medic, your host. With me are Fresh and Fabian, and let's talk about these two. First up, NAVI. What can they offer here, Fresh?
Hopefully some attacks. It really was their story of Playday 1 is they went and took the game to BDS, and then they let it go again. It was, they were getting cursed on the timeline, 6-1 up. You're thinking, just get one attack, boys, and then they didn't.
They fell asleep at the wheel. They had quite the rough attacks. I was actually looking into the stats a little bit here, and one thing that disappointed me was how well Thunder played in the first 7 rounds. He did a great job. He got his picks. The first attack round, he gets a triple on the entry frag, and then he actually kind of disappeared. And that's where I see that if Thunder can wake up in their attacks and lead the front line to get these entry frags, because he got 1 kill in the remaining 7 rounds of the game, which just isn't good enough for your entry fragger to get.
I was kind of looking at it, and we're going to judge this team by who steps up to fill the shoes of Doki. Big shoes. Even if it's a small person.
Actually pretty small.
We'll make a small person. We'll get it out of the way.
Shoes.
Whatever. Big shoes to fill, because Doki was the guy who went in, got those entry kills, and really opened up the space. And it all looked so good on the defense, but attacks really where it's harder to find those entries, to play together, to find the kills, especially the entries. And I think that will be the measure of NAVI over the next 3-4 games. Realistically, is how many entries they can win or lose, because it didn't look pretty good. I think it was 4 entry engagements they won over 14 rounds against BDS.
And that's not good enough. Their defenses, however, were magnificent. They played super well off each other. It seemed like their communication was on point. Their solo roams were not aggressive, and I actually kind of liked how they did roam their game. But then, I keep just coming back to the attacks were not good.
Thank you, Fabian.
Honestly.
He's been like literally in the middle of the night, he'll wake up, because he's my neighbor. He'll wake up in the middle of the night, he's like, attacks. And it is either he's talking about NAVI or he's talking about Fnatic over in APAC. So it's just...
You give me the heebie-jeebies with that?
The heebie-jeebies, as they say.
I start shaking.
What about outsiders on the other side? Because we went from Pons and Heroic, the 2 teams that took their W's, they won their games, to the 2 teams that took their L's in the last day. So how does that go, Fabian?
Well, they were struggling quite a bit as well. They only seemed to wake up against LFO when they basically had already lost their first point. Their defenses were struggling, and I said in the pre-show that I think that LFO could have won all 6 of them. I don't really see where it went wrong, though. I just see where LFO played it well, and I don't know if that's a good thing for LFO or if it's a bad thing for outsiders, but I just saw that they were struggling in their defenses. But their attacks were quite solid, and I think that when they got into the groove of it and they actually had something to fight for, that's when they woke up.
I think it's all about who's dictating the pace of the game, and particularly when you're on the defense, and we've just seen Pons struggle with it, is when teams aren't doing what are expected. You can't deal with it. And Outsiders had that same issue, is when LFO were doing all this kind of fast, aggressive, attacking play, really oppressive, really in the face, they had no solution, which is why they didn't look too good on the defense. But once they got onto the attack, conversely, they could start dictating it a little bit more, go at their own pace, and they looked a lot better.
Yeah,
and
decide the structure.
And let's see who's starting on what side and on what map we're going to be playing on. Since you're saying starting side might have an impact, attack defense for these 2 teams that have had their weaknesses. 9-map pool. 8 are out, 1 is left. Which one will it be? More excitement.
Zoom in.
Chalet to clean it up. Okay, so border banned by NAVI just before. We won't get a second border for today.
Nope.
And that's NAVI starting off on the attack, because Outsiders picked up the defense for Chalet, a map that we've seen kind of veer more towards the attackers, at least through Invitational. We don't have enough data yet on EUL in the stage right now to kind of tell exactly how that goes, but is there anything to look into this, Fabian?
I think that the advantage would lean a little bit more towards Navi's side. I don't know if you agree with me, Jack, but I think that if they can just get their attacks a little bit sorted and study what LFO did, combine that with what they have from previous studying of them, I think they can look really good, but they just need to up the pace a little bit to kind of copy LFO to a degree, because I don't think that Outsiders have that time to completely overhaul their defenses.
So it's brave going back to a map that you've just been beaten on in terms of the second play day. It was only 2 days ago that Outsiders had lost on this particular map. So for Navi's point of view, as you say, if they've studied that and they say, right, we're going to bring the heat, we're going to bring the pace, then it really could be to LFO's detriment.
And it could be
not LFO, Outsiders.
Yeah, Outsiders could be struggling a little bit here from the same issue that Pons did, that their map pool is so small because they have changed players. They're forced into it because Navi can look at their ban phase and be like, yeah, they didn't want to play these maps, and we will reach the exact same endpoint if we ban basically the same way.
All right, maybe we'll expect the same bans then even in operators in the game. There's so much that we could talk about, but we have to get into game. So Fabian Fresh, thank you very much. Our lobby's ready and set. Outsiders v NAVI. We go to France. It's a beautiful, very wintry time. There's a lot of snow happening around Europe now in end of March, April. I don't know what's going on. Let's see what Chalet can bring us. And we got Ace and Des take us through it. It's Big Tim, the tank engine, on the other side.
Tim, the tank engine.
I like that.
Choo-choo!
Choo-choo.
Let's hear it.
I just did it then.
More emphasis in that.
No, I prefer to keep it low-key.
All right, all right. Milos was saying it's been snowing in France. It has been snowing today.
It has a little bit.
Actually. Looked out the window earlier on, a few little speckles. It was mainly rain, but a little bit of snow coming down. We're going here to a much more snowy location, though. Chalet, one of our favourite maps to cast at the moment, Tim, and I'm excited to see how this one shakes down, because Navi the other day looked fantastic. I think blew away many expectations. A few of the players taking to Twitter and saying, oh, 4 support players, huh? Well, look at what we can do. Outsiders maybe not with the performance many would have expected, so I think leaning towards Navi for this game is very fair, but Outsiders have still got a lot of quality on this roster.
Absolutely. You know, we did see a good performance out of Outsiders. They, at times, handled LFO well, first couple of rounds particularly. LFO getting in there, being aggressive, and Outsiders were able to win difficult sort of 2v3s, just waste a lot of time. So there's definitely positives there for them to build from, and Navi are not going to have an easy time of it here today. Thatcher is going to be our opening ban, taken away by Outsiders, and Navi come in with the Thinker. Quite an interesting one. We don't see a lot of Thinker bans.
No, but there have been calls for more of them. The LMG pretty powerful, has an ace to go on 6. A team-wide buff can get teammates up, make sure entry's much stronger going into the opening engagements because you've got the extra HP as well. So I think it's a really smart ban, the same as the Mute. And if I'm not mistaken, we saw a Mute ban come through the other day as well from Navi. If not from them, it was in another game. And I remember seeing it at the time and thinking, really clever, because Mute has been such a present part of many lineups over the last, well, not even just this stage, but across SI, even much of last year as well. A shotgun on side, the C4, the SMG for those that can use it well, the gadgets that are fantastic too. Just overall a very powerful operator. So, 2 funky bans coming in from Navi. They're not ones you come to expect, but ones that will have an impact on how this game plays out.
Oh, for sure. For sure. We're going to get into it. We're going to be heading into we're going to be heading into our round number 1. It's going to be Outsiders that will kick us off on the defence to begin with. We'll see exactly which site they're going to be choosing. Will it be top floor? Will it be bar and game? Where are they going to go? They're going to go to the top floor. Master and office still pretty much seen as the primary site. We have had 1 or 2 teams sort of picking up kitchen, dining or bar and game in those mid-level sites, just picking them up as the primary choice. But for the time being, Outsiders going to take us all the way up to the top. So what you're likely to see is a push from the library side, maybe combined with a little bit of action from those Solarium windows as well. Not all teams choose to use them. I think the problem with coming in through the Solarium side is it's very, very tight. You're squeezing yourself into not a lot of space at the top of those stairs, especially when you're trying to rappel in through windows. You've got the enemy right up in your face. Those defenders tend to be playing very, very close up there. So we've got medics on the observing. He's not giving us a trademark spin. Do you think there's one? There we go. Edix is going to give us the trademark spin, and we get into the action phase.
What you want to watch out for in this first round, operator-wise, is the man that clearly never grew out of playing with little remote control cars, secretly on the Flores. That mute ban coming in just enables a Flores to be highly effective on this map. So with no Mozzie on side, what you're going to see him doing is looking for the shield that FMX has placed down. It's likely at the top side of piano. It's where you'll very often see someone playing. In this case, it's actually on the piano itself, supported by a couple of ADSs, but it's free real estate from those Roteros. They should be able to rain on through and take down key bits of utility with no questions asked. So Navi, got to be nice and pacey on that one. Get yourself control of library, get onto Mez, get into library hall, and then start letting the drones do their work.
It's going well for Navi so far. Thunder's moved in quickly, got himself into gaming, gets back on the drone, just makes sure Fireplace is clear, moves in. What will you tell me, Des?
1 good Flores can take out 4 bits of utility here. 2 ADSs, a shield, and the Banshee that's just inside inside Piano. If he lands it right, I don't think he'll need to because he's got 4 to play with. He can be pretty good about it. He's going to find the shield first and foremost, but I guarantee he'll come back for seconds and want to get the rest as well.
Certainly will. Like you say, there'll be another one coming in that's just going to clear that utility that's hard up against that wall, but that is a good start for Navi. Clearing out that Piano position is the start of being able to get yourself in here and get the diffuser down, because that's the angle that they will try to hold through that soft wall onto the breach. Not able to do it anymore. Next 2 pieces of utility go. Another ADS and a Banshee will be no longer in this round. So Navi have pretty much cleared the path here, Des. They've got the wall open. They just need to start finding some kills, in all honesty. If they get a couple of those, they'll think about getting in and getting that diffuser down.
I forgot about some of the magnets coming out, though, because 2 of those frags being eaten up. But however, it's secretly still finding the entry regardless. Pasha going down. Yak's inside on half wall. In fact, no, just inside the breach, getting the shallow plan down. Staying cover. He is being smoked out, but he's going to stick it all the way through, inhaling a few lungfuls of gas to make sure that diffuser goes down. It's gone like clockwork for Navi in this first round. And Outsiders, they've got to scrounge something back here, gorge their way through to a potential comeback, but it's looking very, very unlikely. Rask, the one on the push forward, a 3 versus 4, make it just 2 remaining here, swinging out for the one more. Can't quite find the man. It's a 1 versus 2 for Rask. He's got it all to do with how exposed you are pushing out here. He's got to look at every single possible angle going. Nath, the one playing on the downstairs, he can impact out the floor here and stop this coming through. Gets the 1, but does he know the man's trying to defuse? Here's and go back on as well. A second one coming in just to take him off here. There's only about 7 seconds left. He only needs 1 more shot. Nath, you can't lose it. Nath, he's got it. He's found it. He can't stick it out the back of that one. For a second there, Tim, I was panicking, but they get the win.
Whew, Nath just really taking us to the wire in that round.
Please don't, Nath.
There was a second that I was thinking, is he going to go back to another concussion, or is he locked in to try and find this kill? Because it happens, you get tunnel vision, you just get locked in. And if he's thinking he's going to find that angle and he doesn't, and the time ticks away, then that really could have been dire. But he did. He got back on the concussion and he won it well. It was a great effort from Rask at the end there, to be fair, to bring it back to a 1v1. Couple of nice kills for him and he had a real opportunity, but Nath handled the situation well. Navi, they take a convincing first round, I will call that, despite how it finished. I think that was pretty solid. They got the utility cleared out. They moved the problem defenders, opened the breach quickly. Kayak gets the plant. It was pretty clockwork.
I think in a way because maybe the mute ban wasn't expected by Outsiders. They thought, oh, okay, then it's whatever, we'll just play as we were going to anyway. They've probably realized to some level now, you need to have a plan for that Flores because it did so much work. I mentioned about it getting the shield, the other 3 bits of utility just inside Piano. Once that's cleared up, no one can play inside Piano. No one can sit that close to challenge you when you're planting just inside of the breach. So really, you're relying on these long-range shots coming in from Master. It was just very well orchestrated by Navi and Outsiders, being caught blindsided in round number 1. Hopefully here, things go a little bit better as we step down into kitchen and dining.
Nath just opening up that balcony window, make sure that there's nobody going to be peeking out there, nobody just lurking behind there waiting for the opportunity. And Navi again moving quickly up to the line of the building. This was something that they did last round. I commented on Thunder on the Eon getting himself into gaming quickly and just droning sort of 15, 20 feet ahead, then move in, drawn, move, and just moving through the map pretty quickly. And it's something that Navi have done again. Under 30 seconds, they've got a number of operators already inside of the walls of Chalet here, just looking to apply pressure to any roamers that are there. They're going to need to take care of the top floor. That much is for sure, because we've got a couple playing in Master and Office, and that's the process that they're undertaking at the minute.
I like what they've done across both of these rounds, where you've currently got Thunder sat at the top of the basement stairs. You had the same from Nathan the last round. That's to stop someone coming in, for example, from the 90 underneath and coming for a swing or trying to toss C4s up. It just makes sure they've got that cover whilst everyone else is trying to focus up on the top floor. Stepping a little bit closer, it's secretly again to find the entry, and that Electroclaw will catch the breach going off as Smash steps in for the trade.
That is big from Smash there. Not only has he burnt away that utility, he's also got himself a kill as well. Out goes the Nitro, but Nath, it's going to be to find the kill with one onto FMX. Advantage still to Navi here, and Outsiders, to be honest, Des, can feel hard done by. They've had a really good passage of play at the beginning there, able to slow Navi down and take away critical utility, but it has just still not been enough. Kayak now having to make a choice as to where that second exothermic will be used, though. They've, of course, got the Maverick to open up walls further. The exothermic is going to be used downstairs on the kitchen wall. More important because it's opening up the plant spot. The Maverick can just make life difficult for anybody inside of Office and Master by using that blowtorch to open up lines of sight. In goes the nade, clearing out some utility, and with just under a minute to go, NAVI, they are posturing, they are poised, they are ready to try and get in and get this diffuser down again.
He threw the nade in, but missed the shield, it seems like. Okay, there you go. Now it's actually gone. I was going to say, I thought that first nade surely would have cleared it. No, Magnet caught it, but clearly didn't connect with the shield at the time. However, it's gone now. They've got some of the top floor control they're looking for, but really need the verticals if they're going to make this plant work. So you've got Nath pushing in on the downstairs. You've got a couple looking to push in upstairs as well. They're starting to kind of align themselves for what's going to be an execute, and Yak getting that kill could be the one they're looking for. But Tim, here comes Rask.
That's it. It will likely be the catalyst for NAVI to try and get themselves in there. Smash is on low health. This is largely going to come down to Rask, and that's the first kill onto Thunder. But Nath manages to find Smash, and now it's all up to NAVI to defend this site. Diffuser has been planted. Rask finds half health of Nath, but cannot get the kill. He's moving in. He's likely to be challenged, and that will be the final kill. Taken down. Another good round from NAVI on the attack. Another plant. 2 rounds, 2 plants. They are playing the objective fantastically well so far today.
Rask, you know, trying to make a similar play to last round as well. When the player that was sat at the top of main stairs earlier on, it was Thunder. The previous round, it was Nath. Had stepped away. That was when his opportunity came in. And I think he did the right thing as well. He kept himself alive, tucked in deep at the very back of library stairs, and then came down looking for the kills and was unfortunate not to get the sledge. If he got that kill, suddenly you're having a very different conversation, but they managed to deal with it on the side of NAVI. As you say, 2 rounds in a row. Should we get excited because Chalet is an attacker-leaning map? Maybe not, but it's looking good because, as you say, it's all been objective-focused play so far.
Absolutely. Going to be moving into round number 3 then. It's going to be Bar and Gaming this time around. Outsiders obviously feeling that they've not really been close enough to either of those first 2 sites to give them another go. They're going to mix things up, and they're going to go to their third choice, see if they can lock that one out. NAVI, they're going to need control of top floor this time. They sort of got away with not securing it last time. It all sort of started to fall apart as they tried to clear those roamers out of top, and were losing the exothermic just forced them to move downstairs, but they were still able to make it work. This time, it's going to be imperative that they get hold of that top floor.
And probably really critical again, same as round 1 to look back at, is the impact of the Flores once more, because on this site, you're seeing 3 shields, being brought along. You know where 2 of those are going to be? 1 at the top of library stairs, and 1 of them no doubt going to be sat on mezzanine as well, to give the Mez player a place to sit behind. The thing that's potentially missing is normally you would have a mute jammer put on the single wall for the Mez player to protect them from the window. Hibana therefore can't open it, things get jammed off, but because there is no mute jammer, thank you very much medics, they might be able to get this opened up quite comfortably as long as there is no player inside of library. So that basically invalidates the ability to play on Mez, therefore you can't really play inside of library itself. So outsiders will have to keep on drawing things back pretty quickly here, to be honest with you.
Smash is keeping NAVI on their toes here. He's just peeking in and out of this piano window, making it difficult for the player on roof to really get established. Milon just holding the top of the Solarium stairs for the time being. Not only holding it, but locking it down as he finds a nice headshot onto Blur, rips him off the rappel and gives the advantage. Whoa, Thunder! For a second, I thought he might just miss his shots, but no, it's a Thunder clap onto Milon as he manages to get that kill. 4v4 as NAVI level things up.
Now, at least with those entries coming in, it's far from the end of the world, right? Blur was coming in from solo by himself. He's playing on the Maverick here. It's not the most critical operator. You've still got Yak on the Hibana. If he dies, those hatches could become a problem for them. They want to try and force these players away from inside a library and inside a top main, because the pressure coming in from library side itself is basically non-existent. No one from NAVI is pushing that side, so outsiders are safe to play inside there. They're not under threat, despite all I said about that wall on mezzanine no longer really being safe.
Pasha still holding onto those library stairs. Could be a critical position here as the manpower is still 4 versus 4. We've had a little bit of a lull, but Smash, he's going to find himself downed inside a library, I think it is, and his life will not be long-lived now. It allows Nath to step out and start challenging onto Pasha, and one of those corners of the triangle just dropping off there, and it's all up to Rask and Pasha to try and hold on to that top floor now. But Smash, quite smartly, has managed to crawl himself over to the hatch, drop down, and be able to be recovered by doing so. Thunder's going to be downed, and what was effectively a 3 versus 4 becomes a 4 versus 3 here. Smash has disappeared all the way down to the basement. We're going to have Thunder collected once again, and with 30 seconds left to go, this is anybody's round.
It's looking a little bit dicey, isn't it? Yeah, it's been a bit of a scrap on the top floor. Well played by outsiders, but that lack of library pressure, I think, is starting to sting NAVI a bit. We're down to the last 20 seconds, and on site, everyone is dug in deep. There's 2 holding inside a split. You got Pasha coming down for a classic flank look up towards the dining side as the drops start to come through. Nate's going to work his way down through the lobby and should get himself caught out. Secretly, hits the deck. Yak as well. Nate wins his fight, but now he's got to find 2 more. Will find 1. Can he find number 3? No, he can't, as FMX pops up. It's down to a 1 versus 2. Can't be done, and Outsiders will find round number 3.
That's the one that they've been looking for. They've been able now to lock down a defensive side. And honestly, if they can just get 1 more secured and go 2-4 into the second half, Outsiders aren't going to mind that too much because they're going to be a little bit more confident on the attack, I would expect. But it was good from Navi, but not good enough. As I suggested, Des, getting hold of top floor, getting hold of library, far more important for them there. And they were just unable to do it realistically. They had a good attempt, but they never got Pasha moved off those library stairs. They never really cleared both of the men out of library, and it was just too much for them then at the end to try and fight into sight without having that vertical superiority for long at least. So that leads us into round number 4. We're going to head back to Master and Office. It's the site that we saw back in round number 1. Navi having a lot of success with the library side. Got themselves in, got the breach, cleared the utility from Piano. I expect to see a rinse and repeat from them. We've got the Flores with Secretly, so I think we're likely to see very, very similar.
And I think this is where I'd like to see either don't put the shield in the same place, place it further back on one of the corners at the north side of Piano, or be more willing to be aggressive in protecting it. You know these Flores drones are going to come rolling in. You need to be taking them out because now there's even more utility to get. You've got barbed wire as well. You've still got the ADS. You've still got the Banshees. You've got the shields. Again, the big focus is going to be around Piano. If they can just roll a Flores in there and take out 2, 3, 4, or all of those gadgets in a couple of drones, all that kind of utility you brought and where you've really created the focal point of attention in this round is just destroyed basically immediately.
Nath moving in quickly, going to open up that front snowmobile garage wall, but Milon is downstairs. Nath is looking for him. I think he's aware there's a yellow ping has gone out, so that's going to tell me that he's been picked up on a drone, and Milon, not too soon whatsoever, gets himself back up the west main stairs there to at least a little bit of transient safety in the round. It's not going to be complete, but it is going to keep him alive for a little bit longer. Unlikely to be pressured that far underneath side, but Navi once again have done well, got themselves in, established quickly, able to open that wall in a matter of seconds now as Secretly starts to send the Rotero drones in, but this time Pacha more alert, ready for that danger and gets it taken down.
And the Iana decoy got shot out of the Gemini before it could hit the laser gate, so it can't burn it through. But here we go, he's tucked it just inside, enough to get rid of the Melusi. So the Banshee at least is gone, the barbed wire as well, but he really wants the top prize here, Tim. He wants to go for gold and get the shield, and he's going to find it along with the ADS off towards the left. You can ignore that one in the back corner for now, but now it's about getting through this laser gate and looking for the plant, because you need to get Pasha from out and deep inside Piano, because otherwise he is a threat.
Secretly's just managed to get the Rotero in to take out that last ADS, so Pasha, if he continues to play the Piano position, is going to find himself without much utility to help him hold on to it. Secretly, no, he tries to pressure the Piano window, he tries to sneak around the backside, but Pasha is ready, and he cuts him down as he goes out of the window. 5 versus 4, smashes downstairs, and it's going to be another flank here as Nath plays onto the main door. He's unknowingly just saved himself there. Heads down to Trench. He's going to move through instead to pressure elsewhere on the map and smash. He's going to come away empty-handed possibly, but if he plays this calm and collected, he could move out into Fireplace later in the round here and really play spoiler.
Well, here we go, getting in front of a window. Almost finding the one. Finally, Pasha falling and hitting the deck as Rask returns the favour onto Blur. So a 4 versus 3 still for Outsiders, and it's a run out. Whether it's Trench or whether it's front door, doesn't matter. It's going to be a freebie. And 2 more quick kills coming for the side of Outsiders. They take round 4, and it feels, Tim, like they're starting to wake up into this game.
Yep, they certainly have done, getting themselves a couple of rounds now. The thing is, they're likely going to be happy with the defensive side, so anything from here now is going to be a bonus. Pick up a round 3, a round 4 on the scoreboard, and they will feel like they've got a lot of strength then going into that second half. And I tell you what, I wouldn't put it past them now to hold on to Kitchen and Dining. They've been winning the gunfights better. I think Navi particularly need to be picking up on those roamers, Des. We've seen it a couple of times in the last 2 rounds. We saw Rask able to have a real impact in round 3. Smash could have been absolutely lethal in round 4. His opportunity didn't come. The round was won before we got to that stage, but still, he was unchecked. He was undealt with. And so for me, NAVI need to be careful about that. They are getting into the building quickly. It was something that our analysts picked up on the desk. Take that from LFO. It was something they did really well and that outsiders struggled to deal with. NAVI have picked up on that principle. They are getting inside in 30 seconds, 45 seconds, completely established. But I'm just a little bit concerned that they're moving a little bit too quick for themselves and they're not picking up on everybody.
Well, the rounds that Outsiders won in the game on Monday really came down to, it was on the same map as well, in case you didn't catch it. It was on this map against LFO, and LFO's pace just constantly kept them guessing and surprised and really unable to deal with the pace that was coming at them in certain rounds. But the ones that Outsiders won is when the pace was a little bit slower. And NAVI, in a way, have kind of forced themselves into this slower playstyle because they banned away the mute, they want to play the Flores, and I always say it, really, you need 90 seconds for a Flores to do his work with his 4 Rotero drones reasonably, to get inside the building, to get set up, to be in a place that's safe to use them, to be in proximity to all the things that you want to destroy. So by slowing it down, you're giving Outsiders more time to adapt, to deal with the pressure where it's coming from, because realistically, you're not going to bait Roteros by sending them in towards solo when really your intent is to come down the south. No, you're going to use it to clear out the main entry point that you want to go for. So everything that NAVI is doing is being really well communicated to Outsiders, and they can respond.
Yak just very alert to that razor bloom there. Takes it down before it can detonate. And we're going to have the Roteros moving in towards Piano, try and clear out Blur. This time bringing along the Ossa. So we'll see how much impact those shields will have. And a very similar strategy here from Secretly as he used last time. After losing that first Rotero, he hasn't lost one this time, sending it in and instead clearing out the close gadgets first. But I think the second this time will be lost to Milon. But with the office wall open, it's going to see Outsiders just being pushed back a little bit. That's unfortunate timing.
Very unfortunate timing, yeah. I get what he's trying to do as well. Doesn't want to get it caught out again. You know, he's got one left here at this point. And realistically, you probably want this still to get rid of the Piano shield. But then the Piano on site itself needs to be dealt with by first burning through the laser gate and then nading out the shield, or at least using a Gon 6. You know, maybe seeing Blur get more aggressive here on the doorway with his second shield would be the play. Because right now, it's all too comfortable, really, for Milon to sit and just watch for the Roteros coming under the laser gate.
I've got a feeling that Milon's going to be a bit of a problem in this round, playing what seems quite aggressively on Piano at the minute. He's ready for any challenge coming in, and I just feel like if they don't deal with him in that position and allow him to push out potentially onto Mezzanine, he could be a real issue. But Nith, he's going to kick things off for us, find a kill onto Pasha. That gives NAVI the advantage. 50 seconds left to go, and they're still labouring over this top floor a little bit. Not comfortable that they've got the vertical pressure that they need. They haven't managed to achieve that at all. We've still got Outsiders playing up there, but can NAVI work around it again? That is the question.
It's needed work. You need to get this top floor control, else you're basically not safe from planting anywhere. They know there are 2 here. They've got 1 on the ping, but the question is, what can you do about this one? You've got flashes on side, but no more frags left. You're waiting for the man to step his way forward. Finally steps out, and they will get the kill. But Milon bringing down Blur again just lessens the power of this top-sided take. So NAVI are probably going to have to try and strong arm their way through into sight here with very little control.
Milon's still on his feet, as I said, likely to be a problem. Gets 1, could get more. Nath finds FMX, 2 versus 3. Milon fighting at distance now after getting himself back downstairs. Smash manages to just spray them down. Kayak is in. He is able to start putting the diffuser down, but it's gonna be the razor blue. Milon, in an indirect way, still manages to have that impact on the round that I suggested that he might, because he was never dealt with inside of Piano. There wasn't enough pressure placed on him there from NAVI. They weren't able to move him, weren't able to clear him out, and Milon just dictates the round a little bit there.
Just a little bit too easy, really, wasn't it? The 3 Roteros that came in upstairs not being able to do the work that was required. The self-nade definitely not helping, because Secretly had the right idea. Take the Rotero in through office, up through the office doorway, and then sidewards, because Milon was holding on the other side of the Piano. Maybe it would have worked, but they were left kind of clutching at straws there, both on the top floor and in the downstairs, just stalling out a little bit. Like I said in that last round, Outsiders enjoy the round when it goes a little bit slower. It's more to their pace, and NAVI right now are sort of playing into that for free, essentially.
Going to be round number 6 then. Final defensive round for Outsiders, and you'd have to say things are going pretty well for them so far. 3 rounds on the bounce.
Oh, I don't know, Tim. Don't look great, does it?
After losing,
you lost 2 rounds, how dare you?
After losing the first 2, they have really fought their way back into this. Got some great momentum now and just need to keep this train rolling. They are going to be looking for round number 4 and an advantage going into the attack, which really would raise some question marks for NAVI there as to how much they can get out of this matchup. But you never know. Outsiders have managed to do it. There's no reason that Navi cannot. As we said, it's going to be Baron Gaming for this final defense. They're going to be trying to keep hold of Library and Mezzanine. They did a very good job of it last time. Navi wasted until about 40 seconds, 30 seconds remaining before they just had to give up and push down onto site. Pasha, he opens things up with a big headshot onto Secretly, and that's going to be a big loss with Flores going. Those Rotero drones will no longer be able to clear out the utility that is going to help Outsiders stay in those positions at the top of Library Stairs, for example.
Absolutely. Good start as well, finding out one of the members pushing in, because really Secretly was the one off on the lib side that was going to be the extra angle of attack, as Rask finds a second as well. For Navi, it's the same again, mind you. Look, they're all looking to push in from the solar side, and what did we say last time round? It was all too easy for Outsiders to hold what should be a much harder position to hold on Mezzanine, for example. You've got no mute jammers. You can't stop the Hibana from getting the pellets down onto that wall and opening things up. But they're just completely ignoring that advantage, it feels, and putting all their focus on the solar-sided take. So whatever they can do from here, they've got about a minute and 50 seconds or so to make it happen. They're down 2 members. It feels like we're on for an Outsiders 4-2 half.
Certainly feels that way. Like I say, you're not going to budge any of these 3 that are in the Library triangle too easily at all. Utility still in place. Wamai Magnet's still picking up nades. They're not going to be able to get rid of the shield if this carries on. Pacha manages to get Nath. I think that is the shield from top Library Stairs. Milon is down as well, but he's going to be collected. Pasha has an opportunity here. He's doing everything this round so far. Getting the kills, getting the pickups. He's doing absolute work for Outsiders. 5 versus 2 now as Navi, they are scrambling to try and find anything out of this round. And Rask finds a beautiful long angle onto the office balcony window.
Oh, an easy swing coming in as well. A flawless round to close out what started out as a pretty worrying half, I'd say, for Outsiders, but they find 4 rounds back-to-back and barely even disturbed as well. All the utility was still left standing. Several members completely undroned. If anything else, it feels like Navi sort of lost steam the longer that half went by, starting with the failure to drone those roamers down in the basement, Tim. From there, it went from bad to worse, and they've got a long task ahead of them now to be able to bring this game back, because as we've said, attack is generally the way that we see Chalet leaning.
It went from bad to worse to terrible, to be fair, for Navi. You know, it went from losing a round in round 3 to having a flawless round against you by the time you got to round 6, and Outsiders have just got more and more convincing as this game has gone on so far. Let's see if they can carry that momentum onto the attack or not, or whether Navi can derail this train and just slow them down, take away that momentum. They're going to try the basement site to kick things off. There's going to be a presence up in kitchen and dining. This could be an interesting hold from Navi.
I'm always interested when I see the downstairs, because for the longest time around the world it was, oh, that site is trash. Why would you ever go there? It's horrible. Just don't do it. But we've seen APAC pick it up. We've seen North America play it. LATAM started playing it. We started to see it creep into Europe as well, Tim. So this is one of those maps now that all 4 sites are viable, which is a fantastic thing. And for a time we were saying it about Villa as well. You know, you sometimes saw Living in Library in North America. Definitely less so lately as we've seen that map. We don't really see that anymore. But at least on Chalet we're starting to see that sort of 4 full site rotation being a thing once again.
Nath looking for an early peek out of the double window there. Not going to have any joy. He drops himself down the hatch, and he's going to be the one playing the mirror inside of dining, I think. Just rotating out, actually, and getting himself towards those west main stairs. I don't think there's anybody playing that utility inside of dining. If we could have a quick look, medics, inside of dining, please.
That's where the kite is, inside
Nath
the table.
is still, sorry, he did rotate out to west main. He's not gone down the stairs. He's got himself back in there. I was going to say it's quite a use of utility up there if they're not going to play a man on there. But for the time being, the Kaid will try to hold it down.
He's there to protect the electro claw that's been shoved inside the table, because it catches both of the walls downstairs. So even though there was a Twitch drone on the downstairs, they can't do much about it. They've already had it coming for a good look. So, well, now they know, great, we can't get rid of it. We need to be able to get inside of dining, which is why you've got this committal across all 3 floors coming in from Navi. It's with the sole purpose of looking to try and lock down that top side.
We've just got Milon now opening up that west main window, so that's going to make it a little bit more dangerous for Nath, because his rotation out of there is now not going to be so straightforward, but he does have the hatch open, I think, so we're likely to see the Kaid just playing his life. He's going to try to stay in here for as long as possible. He's likely to die defending it if I was going to say if Outsiders can get the kill, but nope, he feels not much pressure there, Des, but just drops himself away through the hatch. 1 minute 30 left to go, and that's going to allow Outsiders, if they move quickly enough now, to think about getting that claw cleared off, but there are 2 roamers still to be dealt with.
You said the magic word yourself there, Tim. A minute and a half had gone by. They were just starting to crawl all over the top floor, and that is when he steps away. Now, Smash could shoot out the Electroclaw in that table, but I think he's too worried about the hatch, to be honest with you, and you still got a member or two of NAVI that can look to challenge into this kind of position. So he must know. He's got to know it's on the other side at this point, because if that gets removed, they can then look to push in from the north. You've got Ras waiting, you've got Milan waiting. Boys, you've got to be able to get this open. It's going to be the Maverick finally getting to work on it, because they just realised, okay, look, we can't get it open with the Thermite. We'll have to just make do with the Maverick instead.
This is it. You know, the frustration there, that decision needs to come quicker, because you've got the Maverick. You've had that option for the last 2 minutes and chosen not to take it, and then still not taken the Electrical out. So for me, really, you've got to, you know, make that call sooner if that's the way that it's going to go. 30 seconds left to go. Blur gets the opener onto Smash, and this is going to be a very difficult round for Outsiders to win now. Milan fighting on a tight angle there, knows that the Kaid is just behind that wall that he can see, but he's unable to find anything. Thunder secretly, as you say, moving in perfect timing, unison there to get themselves kills and get this now to a 3 versus 2 as Milan is able to find 1, but that will be all as Kayak mops up with a double, and that's going to be Navi taking the basement defense. And for me, Outsiders, compared to their defences, they just looked a little bit lost at sea there, Des.
They felt they'd done everything they needed towards the end of the round as well, because they started on the top floor, they worked their way down to the first floor, they got control of the hatch, they were around where the Electroclaw was, and then started to get to work on the wall. But you saw that last kill coming in wine then, was from the hatch on the upstairs. So with a flank coming in from Na'Vi, they removed that first floor pressure. Everyone left on Outsiders was downstairs, because it was all hands on deck. Time to panic. There's 15 seconds left, and we need to get the diffuser down, only for Nath to retake the hatch and get the closing kill for them. Well played by Na'Vi, stalled out a lot of time on the roam, and then also a little bit of negligence, should we say, from Outsiders, not being aware of that Electroclaw and where it was stuffed, which then left them to have to go to last resort, which was to get the Maverick on the wall instead.
And then we saw Smash back up in dining. It was to try and control the hatch. It was just all very reactive from Outsiders. It didn't seem like they were able to adapt very quickly to what was in front of them. Never dealt with the roamers, just left themselves sort of problem after problem that they didn't solve. Let's see if they can have a better attack this time into kitchen and dining. We're going to have Na'Vi with a bit less of a top floor presence, I think. There's 2 up there at the minute. We've got the Malus and the Kaid up there, but they've just reinforced the hatches. They've not established themselves inside a piano yet. That might come as the Wamai has joined them up on the top floor. Secretly is up there, but there's no shield. There's no presence in piano like we saw from Milan. Let's see if Na'Vi can hold on to this top floor or not.
I mean, really, the one to be excited about is the Amaru for Pasha, right? Where's he going to come zipping into? If we see a zip in at all, it looks like it's going to be inside a solar. This should be paired up here really with a Lion Scan as well to make sure no one can step out and swing onto him. Thunder is currently laid down. They see him on a drone here. It's going to be a
Here
free
he goes.
Here he comes on the one side. The call must come in. He doesn't know where he is. Surely now that he knows, yep, almost a swing around, but 2 fast kills coming in. By the looks of it, Outsiders taking a few lessons from LFO on their last Playday, coming in at pace, killing 3 members of Na'Vi, make it 4, and inside 45 seconds, it's a 1 versus 5.
Where was this team a round ago, Des? Where was that team on the attack a round ago? Because this time, there was, you know, where there was a lack of decisiveness, it was there in abundance this time. Straight in through the Solarium window, 2 kills come in at once, and they just absolutely dominate the round. It's over 20 seconds later. Beautiful play from Outsiders to take kitchen and dining. They never had to go anywhere near the site to close that one out. Flawless round for them, and that is a message to Na'Vi. If you thought it was all going to look like it did down in basement, you were wrong. It's not going to. Outsiders certainly here to play on the attack.
Really good use of repick as well, by the way, because prior to that, they didn't go into that round with the intention of running that. You saw them change away most of their players onto different operators, bringing along the Amaru, the Lion, likely because they saw just how thin on the ground Na'Vi were on that top floor with no real utility being committed up there, and just said, hey, there's a couple of reinforcements, but that window and that push into office looks pretty easy. We can get the Lion double window, we can call the scan in, so they can't react, and this is exactly what LFO did to them the other day. They just overwhelmed them and overpressured them. No doubt comms were in absolute chaos for Na'Vi there towards the execute point in that round, and by the time they got a plan together, well, they were already left 1 versus 5. Brilliant round by Outsiders.
Moving into round number 9, then we're going to head to Bar and Gaming this time, as Na'Vi quite smartly, I would say, quite wisely, decide not to try the kitchen dining defence again. Although I dare say we would have to see a slightly different attack from outsiders should they choose to go back to that side at any point. They won't get away with that quite the same way. But for the time being, Bar and Gaming will be the target, so I would expect pressure into library, pressure into mezzanine area and into main lobby, and that is exactly where outsiders are stacking up.
There we go. So a bit of a key difference this time is that, yep, there is a ton of pressure coming in straight away on the library side. It's not a completely north-sided push. In fact, pretty much everyone instead putting their focus, no doubt, on towards the library hall window and onto library itself. So totally at odds with what Navi were doing, and you're already seeing the results. 2 kills come flying in. FMX and Milan pulling outsiders ahead once again. A third flying in, and it's feeling just like round number 8, Tim.
Honestly, I feel like the difference between round 7 and round 8 and 9 collectively is respecters. I feel like in round 7, outsiders have maybe come in with, you know, I won't say too much respect, but they've given a lot of respect to Navi. They've not challenged into the roamers. They've played quite a soft game, whereas round 8 and 9, it feels like they've just said, right, we're not showing these any respect anymore. We're going to win every single gunfight. We're going to challenge. You've got Kayak there, lodged in the corner of library, and he's the first death to FMX. FMX had just gone in through the window and shot him. Like, simple as that. At this point, outsiders are just saying, no, we're not showing you any respect. We're going to beat you in every single gunfight. We'll beat you on an animation when we're coming in through a window. There's absolutely nothing to stop them. And Navi right now, the only thing that they can do to stop them is to slow them down for 45 seconds with a tactical timeout.
LFO most definitely sat there going, yes, my son, you have learned well, young Padawan. You have learned about this aggressive, fast push that the other side simply can't deal with. One that I would wager was almost pioneered by Rogue back in Stage 3. Think about them playing on Villa and thinking about how many single-door bottlenecks there are on that map. They didn't bring a hard breacher. They'd count down 3, 2, 1. They'd rush site. They'd kill 3 or 4 of you. And before you know it, the plant was down. You were losing the round before you could even say, what? It was crazy. And you're starting to see that bleed into more and more playstyles, not just here, but also around the world. And the pace on Chalet, it's unmatched.
It's wild.
Unmatched compared to what we have seen on others, probably because it feels like there's a little bit less to do. And where Navi took the approach of ban the mute, bring the Flores, play a slow round, these guys have gone, look, guys, we learned on Monday, that's not how you play Chalet anymore. You play it fast, you hit them hard, you hit them before they can react, and that's how you get round wins on the board.
I saw a tweet after the LFO win that's just come back to mind. I think it was Helby. I apologise, Helby, if I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm pretty sure it was Helby's tweet that said, basically, welcome back to the 20-second meta, except now it's the first 20 seconds.
It was Helby, you're absolutely right, yeah. Because for those who don't remember...
It's spot on for Chalet at the minute.
Vitality as an all back in the day were regarded as one of the slowest teams that you could see playing Siege. They'd take 2.5 minutes to prep themselves, and then everything would happen in the last 20 seconds or so. So for them, it is a complete flip in philosophy towards Siege is let's get it all done inside 60 seconds rather than leaving it down to the last 15. And with the results they're seeing in this game, are you really going to say to them it's a terrible change? Absolutely not. This could be Navi's last round. Outsiders at 6 and 3. Navi have had their tactical timeout. They've had a chat. They've had a discussion, a little chin wag to try and find what the winning play is here. But they're going to have to find 3 of them. And given how the last few rounds have gone, I think you'd be hard-pressed. The only thing that makes me nervous, Tim, is Rask is now on that Flores, which again to me says slower play style.
It certainly does, and Navi have been able to go back down to the site that they've won. They had a better performance down here. There's no two ways about it. Losing a Rotero drone very easily there, trying to get it really deep into site. He wants the shield. He wants to deal with that Pillars player. You have to move the Pillars player if you want to get in and get the plant down just inside of those wine cabinets, but it's not going to be easy to get it that deep in either. And as you say, we can already see 45 seconds, nobody in the map. This is slower from outsiders. There's no two ways about it. But as you said, Des, one round here in the basement will not be enough for Navi. They have to be able to hold one of those 2 sites that they've just been decimated on.
It has really slowed the pace down, and not saying that's a bad thing. Outsiders may well be about to show they can play the slow game as well as the fast game, but it's on Navi really now to make use of this space they're being given. You're being given a lot of time. You're not being pressured too much. This is where you need to be responsive. Know what's happening around the map, be communicating with each other and taking actions as a result, because now you've got the time to discuss things.
I feel like outsiders have done a little bit of a better job there in clearing out dining. The question is, can they clear out any other utility that's causing them problems? There aren't any electricals this time, so they don't need to be trying to shoot out from the dining table or anything else, but Blur is in an interesting position on the Malusi. Top floor, I'm not sure if he's been picked up or not, and they were hurt on the flank last time. If they don't shut him down, it is going to be a problem, mark my words.
The problem they've got, though, is the Twitch has just been doing so much work. Those shock drones getting in and removing seemingly everything. You name the utility, it's been taken out. But Blur should now really be looking to start his move as the team are starting to make their moves on the site itself. But the problem is, Tim, they're all on the north side. Blur's on the south. He's got to get across the top and come down the stairway to start doing some work. Meanwhile, they're still doing everything when it comes to the site itself. Getting rid of that shield. 2 members of NAVI now looking to go on the push forward. They'll know, okay, a flank drone has been taken out. Pasha will have made that call since he's sat on a drone. They'll know where the focus is going to be. Diffuser, though, still outside trench.
Outsiders are so close to having everything that they need here, but Thunder, Blur, they're the ones who can really play spoiler. They're keeping Smash away from controlling that hatch for the time being, but they don't need the hatch. FMX has got the cover from West Main Stairs, from Trench, and he's able to get that plant. This is going to be very difficult for Na'Vi now because there's only 2 angles that really need to be held. The hatch, though, is where it comes in useful to cover this plant. Milon takes Thunder down. Milon now able to move likely onto that hatch. Blur needs to make a move. He gets cut down by Rask, and that should now be the round for Outsiders. They've got the plant, they've got the hatch, they've got the angles. The kill from West Main, simple as that. FMX on a double. Outsiders had absolutely everything they needed, and they've also got the 3 points to boot.
Absolutely impressive second half. I mean, the first one started slow, but really turned up the heat, got the pressure racing, and started turning 1 round into 2, into 3, into 4. And that second half, even playing the slower game in that last round, Na'Vi were the ones who were slower yet, right? It took too long for those 2 roamers in Library Hall to get themselves above, to start looking for a challenge, and by then, the diffuser was already down. It was too late. They were able to turn all their focus on the roamers and let Na'Vi be the ones that come to them. So, really, that game to me, all about pace, and Outsiders had it in spades.
Outsiders look fantastic, to be honest with you. They had 1 bad round. They lost the first 2, but I don't think they were terrible. No. But they had that 1 bad round.
Round 1.
Yeah, round 7, but apart from that, Outsiders absolutely flying.
Yes, and that's the potential that we thought we all saw coming into the season as well. That is not, they've had roster changes, but many have been saying this is an upgrade to this roster, bringing in Smash and bringing in FMX. I'm not going to say today those 2 players were the sole reason they won. We saw Milon getting involved, Ras dropped double digits as well, even Pasha was getting involved too. The whole roster came together and they put on a wonderful performance today. Let's go to a break, and when we come back, our analysts will break that down for you.